up and blow up and lead us behind me. I hope that you know you ain't finna be cuffing. I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of waking up and being on my own now.
Podcast number 39.
Almost over the hill.
Almost. Not quite, but almost. Yeah. So.
Damn, my shit loud as hell.
Jeez.
Why does that change? Yo. Check one. All right.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man, I'd like to start off this podcast by letting everyone know that I kicked Moe-T's ass in fantasy football this weekend.
Okay.
Absolutely murked.
This is a terrible year for me.
What, I beat you by 100?
Dude, how is my team so bad?
I'll tell you why. Drafted a shitty team.
Well, I guess I did.
So we're in a 2-quarterback league. Moe-T, you know, I know most people, like, at least most guys out there actually probably play fantasy football, feels like. So you guys can relate to this. 2-quarterback league. Moe-T the last couple years has taken a bold strategy. We got 10 people in our league, and he's gone quarterback with his first 2 picks. And he's coming off back-to-back championships. So normally you'd think terrible strategy. You know, you want to lock down one of those top RBs, whatever. But it's worked for him. This year he went Brady Rodgers, and the experiment is failing miserably. I think I can't dog the strategy because he won the last few years, but like last year you ended up with Gurley in like the 3rd round. And like to me, that's why you won. It's not the quarterback strategy. You know what I mean? I mean, who am I to say? You won twice in a row, but not working for you this year. Just got slaughtered by the #1 bunner.
Yeah, I feel like it's, dude, quarterbacks have been dope this year. Like a lot of them, like putting up big numbers.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Maybe it'd be different if you actually got the best 2 quarterbacks, but really, I don't even know what they rank. But Brady and Rodgers in fantasy football this year are probably like around 10 instead of around 1 and 2.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing, though. Like that's the reason why I'm not even putting up any numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. If you would have gone, you know, if you'd have gone Mahomes, Cam,
yeah,
shit might be different for you.
Yeah, I think it would be different.
But who's going to know Mahomes is going to do that?
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It just happened to be that this year, like they're not even in the top 5.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for the automatic dub, though. Appreciate it. What else? Oh, dude, college hoops starting up tonight. MSU on national TV in the big showcase.
Pretty psyched for that.
Taking on #1 Kansas.
That's right.
I got to be honest with you. I'm a little scared.
A little scared, huh?
I'm not as confident in this MSU team as I normally am in MSU basketball teams.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, we lost Bridges and we lost Jackson, our best 2 players.
Right.
We always have, you know, solid recruiting classes, but we never have that, you know, like Duke has this year or like any of those top programs, North Carolina, Duke, Kansas, Kentucky. We don't get the recruiting classes that they get where you just bring in 4 of the top 10 players in the nation and it's like, boom, we're good again.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a little nervous. We're ranked #10 in the nation because to me, based off of reputation, not necessarily based off of we're going to be sick this year.
Yeah.
But sometimes those are the best years for state.
You never know.
The years where we don't have the big expectations. And I do like I like Cassius coming back. I like Langford, Ward. We're going to have a solid team. It'll be Kansas is ranked #1 though, so we'll get a test right away to see what's popping. And then the second game I think is Duke, Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Which is going to be a sick game. I'm interested to see those Duke guys.
Just pumped for college basketball in general.
Yeah, always a good time, man. Always a good time of the year.
This football season has kind of been...
It's been tough as a state fan. I mean, we could still finish with...
tough as a Lions fan.
Oh, my God. Don't even get me started, bro. Don't even get me started. 2 weeks ago, I was like, Lions might actually be able to do some shit.
Yeah.
Then we lose a shitty game to the Seahawks, and we lose a shitty game to the Vikings, dude. That one last week was borderline unwatchable.
Dude, it was embarrassing. It was bad.
But yeah, happy to be moving on to hoops.
Did Minnesota set a franchise record or something like that for sacks or something?
Did they?
In a game? Yeah.
I didn't hear that. I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was, like 10 sacks.
Jeez, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, I would say college basketball is probably of all sports, college basketball is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And football is so big this day and age. I think most people's is like NFL or college. College football is pretty damn dope. Like, that's hard to compete with. But I'm a basketball guy.
Yeah. Yeah, basketball's. I'm definitely a basketball guy. I had Aaron watch Hoosiers. Hoosiers the other night.
Wow.
The throwback.
Hoosiers is a good solid film.
Great sports film. You know?
What's your
She was intrigued the entire time, I could tell.
What's your favorite sports film of all time?
Of all time? Ugh.
And this is off top, so like, I know you're not prepared for this, but
I'm trying to even like think. So
I mean,
like, what are the top normally?
Hoosiers,
like
Hoosiers,
Rudy,
like Rudy,
Rocky.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Miracle, Field of Dreams.
Yeah. Are those the main ones?
Yeah, I mean, you could include stuff like, I don't know, White Men Can't Jump if you want, A League of Their Own.
Yeah, I don't really.
Friday Night Lights.
Like,
I'm Happy Gilmore.
I'm trying to think of like the classic, like
Jerry Maguire.
Like serious, like just the overcoming adversity, like,
I mean,
type of like.
To me, it's tough to top. Remember the Titans.
Oh, what about the one with the basketball one? Not Hoosiers, but
Glory Road.
No. There's another one that we're missing.
Really?
Yeah. Crap. I can like picture it. Who's in it?
Hoop Dreams?
No, not Hoop Dreams.
That's a great documentary type thing, though.
Basketball.
Coach
movies.
Carter?
Yeah, Coach Carter. That's another like classic overcoming adversity.
Yeah,
like
solid. Space Jam.
No.
Great movie though. Just not
great
the same,
movie.
Not in the same like.
Not
genre.
the same thing. Not the same thing. That's what I'm saying though. Is I like
all the girls' favorite one is Love and Basketball.
Yeah. That's all right.
Do you have a favorite of all these ones we're naming?
I don't know. It's tough because they all have aspects that I like of them.
I'd have to go with Remember the Titans if I had to choose. You know what one is underrated though? That I watched probably a few months ago. I saw it when it first came out, and then I hadn't seen it since. And it's a sport that I'm not even into. Miracle on Ice. The U.S. versus Russia.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh my gosh, dude, watch it.
Or wait, yeah, I have. I've seen it.
Really dope movie.
Yeah.
Great characters.
Yeah. No, that was a good movie, and I wasn't expecting to like it either, just because I'm not that into hockey. But
right.
Yeah. No, that was a good movie.
The Natural, another good film.
Yep, that's a good one.
A lot of good sports movies, man. They really uplift your spirits.
They do. You know, I have to say though, like, I haven't seen Hoosiers in a long time.
Yeah.
Like all the way through.
Yeah.
The really old sports movies, like that was made in 1986.
Yeah, it was old.
And they are like corny in their own way, but they still stand the test of time of just like really solid like story. You know what I'm saying? Like they get
you invested in
the new school like sports stories. Like they have to throw in all the like just the I don't know, like the language and everything like that to kind of spice it up or whatever. Like the old ones are still entertaining without all that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they like this clean, like whatever. It's rated PG. Like it's not.
That brings me to kind of a different topic, but similar. You know what? Something I hate about a lot of movies is if you have a decent plot, whatever, you have me invested, don't just throw in somebody has all these like psychological flashback issues to spice shit up. You know how like in a lot of movies you always have this character that's just like, oh, but I can't shake this, and they flashback to oh, and he's get that shit out of here. And even like the randomly just having to throw in like, oh yeah, and they're an alcoholic or they abuse drugs or they whatever, just for the sake of it. Yeah, just stick with the fucking story, dude. Like, let me focus on the team, like whatever. I'm not saying like you can't have this be a part of characters. I'm saying you can tell when it's forced. Yeah, like, oh, we need a little something else for adversity,
and that's an easy thing to throw in there.
Spice it up with this. I don't fuck with that.
Yeah,
obviously, if it's like a real life or documentary, and that's actually the person's real character or whatever, fine. But also, don't focus on same shit with like throwing in the random romantic side of it. Yeah, you know what I mean. If that's really what was a focus at the time, whatever, and this was something that really happened, cool. Yeah, but if you're making a fictional movie, don't just throw in this love story that has to just to try to get all the fucking female fans or whatever.
I agree. It's unnecessary.
All right, what's on the docket today?
Oh, before I forget, we're finally on Spotify for the pod.
Yeah. Hey, round of applause on that one.
Do it up. It's been a long time. You know, wishing and hoping for that one.
Yeah, that's dope. So yeah, from now on, you guys can stream the podcast on Spotify. Just search the Specktators podcast, and you shall find it. We'll post links as well, so you'll be able
sure
to find it.
Follow it too, or whatever it is on Spotify. Subscribe, follow.
Yeah, subscribe to the pod. Also, those of you that watch on YouTube and stuff, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and clicking the bell and all that shit. Like, YouTube's so fucked with all the ways that they try not to notify you of things. Right. So make sure you're subscribed and you click the bell and whatever the fuck else you got to do to have that shit show up in your inbox.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. I was happy to see that.
Yeah, that was sweet. So,
because I'm a Spotify user. Like, I have everything else, but if I have a choice,
I know.
If podcasts I like are on Spotify, I listen on Spotify.
Yeah, it was always important, but I was glad to see that we were finally on that. So we got a couple podcasts ago, I think I was complaining about SoundCloud's issues and like taking down some of our songs and like the monetization headaches that we've been having with that.
Yeah, and we were getting a lot of people hitting us up being like, hey, this song isn't on SoundCloud. It got taken down, blah, blah, blah.
So apparently we weren't the only ones. Apparently it was like a big spread issue because they're trying to roll out their new monetization platform to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, most people. I forget what the cutoff is. You have to have like a certain amount of plays in a certain month or something like that. But we're a part of that. And lo and behold, finally, I went back to give it one more shot, and they have improved it substantially, whereas now all of our tracks are monetized, and they are up. If they are not up, let me know. But as far as I can tell, I went over extensively checking all of our tracks. They are up. They're monetizing. We're good to go on that part. Good job, SoundCloud. I hope you actually pay out when you say that you're going to.
Which is always a question mark.
Right. I've been hearing that the contract that the blanket contract that they have with all the artists that they monetize with isn't the best, but I'm hoping that they will improve on that and stuff. But I just figure I'm not going to getting paid with it anyway. Like, what does it hurt? Like,
yeah, and that's what sucks is like, for each individual creator, you kind of have to have that attitude. As a whole, you'd like to make sure that shit is on the up and up and good for everybody, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, we're kind of just...
When you're us.
Yeah. We can't not post on SoundCloud.
Right.
I know like half of you guys would just throw a fit if you one day found our songs were on SoundCloud.
Yeah, and rightfully so if you're used to listening to shit there.
Yeah, it is tough.
Do you think we'll ever get to a day where there's one place to listen to music?
No, not with the free market.
Yeah.
No. There's always going to be somebody trying to like...
Well, and I don't mean literally there's nothing else, but like I think if you asked right now, there's only three. Don't you think? Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
Well, technically, yeah, I guess.
Like there's other like there's okay, I guess you have
like
to
are you asking if there's going to be a YouTube of music?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Because you have like Vimeo and like whatever, but it's like if you want to post visual content, it's YouTube. And so that's why I even like I skipped over Tidal, which is a big streaming service, but it's compared to Apple and Spotify, it's not.
The thing is, I think Spotify is going to be a huge contender if they get this distribution thing down.
Yeah.
And allowing artists to upload when they want to.
Do you think that'd be good or bad to have one place? Because technically, like, if you just asked me that generally with a lot of things, I would be like, that's bad. Because that gives them so much power.
Yeah.
But just as a consumer, I think that'd be dope, don't you?
I think if they do it right, I think it's good. The thing is, YouTube has kind of abused their power as far as like payouts go and things like that. Like I'm not a big fan of YouTube for that aspect of things. It sounds like Spotify is actually trying to do it right as much as they can. Like at least with YouTube's not paying us 50% of their revenue.
Right.
That they make on us.
Right.
Not even close.
Right.
So the fact that Spotify has even put that out there, that's what they're going to try to do. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And so if the platform is somebody that actually respects the creators on the platform, then yeah, I think it is a good thing, but it's just a matter of that. Because the thing is...
But don't you think that happens with a lot of things where they do have the best of intentions and then when you become the only show in town is when you get dirty? Because you can?
Well, maybe, but I don't think that's been the case with a lot of things, though. Like YouTube started being shitty.
Yeah.
And just always has been shitty, but they could be shitty because they're the only place that you can do this shit on.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think Spotify has to be competitive and therefore is offering all of these great incentives for creators and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they would have, like, creators would be pissed if they, like, took back their deal or like made it 25% instead of 50, like after a year of them.
Yeah. And I mean, if it ever got to be that way, like obviously nothing stays that way for forever. Like if Spotify were to become the only show in town, it would be for X amount of years and then something else would pop up just like anything else. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I think it's good. And I honestly like, and if they can keep improving it even better, I think they're trying to get the labels to have less and less influence, which just helps people like us even more.
Yeah.
I agree like even with the fact that they're trying to step into the distribution thing, like that's huge for us.
Right. What am I looking at here with the timer? What does that mean?
23 minutes, 24 minutes.
So the one is just kind of just there?
Yeah, the one is just there.
Okay. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on Spotify, blah, blah, blah. SoundCloud's taken care of then, so we shouldn't really have any more SoundCloud issues.
Shouldn't have SoundCloud issues.
You heard it here first, guys. No more issues on SoundCloud.
Unless they change something. Which I can't guarantee that they, won't. Because it seems like SoundCloud's changing things a lot, trying to keep up with.
Well, trying to keep up and trying to determine what their place is.
That's the thing. It's good for them to monetize, but honestly, I think they've fallen so far behind now that I was reading an article and they made a good point about even if SoundCloud made it the most convenient way and paid everybody out fairly and stuff like that, they're still going to struggle because they don't have the ad placement that Spotify does. They don't have because the thing is the ads follow the users and Spotify has the users.
Yeah.
SoundCloud does not.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to recover. I think Spotify is just too big.
So something I wanted to talk about a little bit today, because this is an area we like to touch on this podcast, and I think we get a fair amount of traction and people like hearing about it, is entrepreneurship, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously we specifically relate it to music, but a lot of things can relate to different areas. And it kind of sparked something in me the other day. I was actually talking to our mother, and she is self-employed. Not the same type of way. Like she doesn't technically like have her own business, but she's self-employed. More of like a, if you have to put it in broad terms, like more of a contractor type of thing, but whatever. I digress. We were talking the other day, just about different things involved in that and pros and cons. And I think something we haven't touched on as far as being an entrepreneur, running your own business, being your own boss, one of the things that is so enjoyable about it and is so good and beneficial and appealing is that there's no ceiling when you wake up every day.
Yeah.
Your day isn't just exactly the same every day. Even if I got up and recorded music 365 days of the year, right?
Right.
None of those songs are the same.
Right.
Every one of those songs has the potential to do something greater.
Different. Yeah.
As opposed to many 9-to-5s working for an employer, working for somebody else. You get hired to do a specific job.
Yeah.
You have a salary.
Right.
You get up and you do it.
Right.
You complete your job.
Yep.
Every day.
Yep.
And you make the same amount of money.
Yep.
And you go home, right?
Yep.
So for me, that's like the most appealing thing. And because it gets stressful just like anything else. But the fact that you can wake up and be like, hey, even the aspect of not just the ceiling, but you have an aspect of the harder I work, the more successful I will be. Not necessarily the case with a lot of 9-to-5s.
No.
As long as you complete your job.
Yeah, you're expected to do a set list of tasks.
Right. And if you work harder,
and you're responsible for certain things, and
if you work harder, your boss or people will like you more.
Yeah.
But will you and I'm not saying people don't climb the ladder and working hard. Like that's I get that. But I'm saying there's a lot of jobs out there that you can work your ass off and make the same amount of money that someone else. Whereas, yeah, that happens here. Like you get people that work hard that don't get the breaks, right? But in general,
right,
you got to be doing the right things. But we always talk to our artists about, right? Like if you look back on a year and I'm like, I did this many shows, I put out this many songs, I did this many videos, I put out this much content, I worked with this many people, right?
Yep.
You're going to look back at that year and be like, wow, that was a dope ass year.
Yeah.
Whereas if throughout a year we look back and we're like, damn, I didn't put out much content, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a less successful year.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can be like, the harder I work, I'm going to reap those benefits. That's an amazing feeling, right?
Oh yeah. For
but
sure.
That's not everyone has the same personality characteristics. So as much as a lot of us don't want to admit it, there are people on the other side of the coin where they don't necessarily want a job where the harder I work, the more. There's a lot of people that would rather be the person that I make this check and I just like the person, my coworker works way harder than I do, but I can get this shit done and get my check.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And to me, I think I touched on it on a way earlier podcast where that's looked down on a lot. I think it's just a personality type.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything to look down on.
Like, yeah, hard work is a good virtue. And I'm not even necessarily saying that person isn't working hard. Because if you're fulfilling your duties, you're
right.
fulfilling your duties. But they're like, and I think the key to this is the 9-to-5 as opposed to the entrepreneur. What you're sacrificing in everything I talked about, right? The fact that entrepreneurs can wake up and not have a ceiling to their day, to their career.
Right.
The 9-to-5, what they have, which is super fucking valuable, is stability.
Yeah. And that's big.
Because entrepreneurs don't have any stability.
None.
Now, when you become like a real successful entrepreneur,
yeah,
and you really have some money,
right,
then you can create your own stability.
Right.
But as far as, and you're kind of creating your own individual stability because you're still, if you're an entrepreneur and you created this big thing, like this big company,
right,
even if you're individually stable, you have a bunch of people that are relying on this company you created. So you're feeling that stress every day.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people entrepreneurship is like the cool thing for for our generation. And I think it's not for everybody. A lot of people need to sit back and think about how much they value the stability. How much do they hate a boring job compared to the stability of a salary and benefits and not having to worry about the success of the business. Like, you and I can come up with a plan and say, Packy, you're going to put out a single every week. And we think that's going to be what's successful for this business. So you put in that work, right? And that's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
Well, the fucked up thing is we could do that. And at the end of the day, I could put in all that work and it might not be the move. Because we have to determine what the right thing for the business is.
Right.
As an employee, you do what you're told and you make your money.
Right.
You're not worried about the direction of the business.
No, because it's a set thing. You agreed upon an hourly wage or a salary, and that's what it is. And there's stability in that, and you're not worried about like the back end of like, you know, will my job be here tomorrow or whatever like that? Because normally if somebody's hiring employees like that, there is some sort of stability for the company.
Right.
And I'm not saying that in every case, but in a lot of cases, that's the way that it is.
Yeah.
But it isn't for everybody. And I don't know. There's some days like I have another job, and there's some days that I like that stability better than what's going on here. Yeah. But then there's other days that I don't. And I get to see the two worlds every single week, and it fluctuates with me. It's like some days this can be really stressful, and then other days it's super cool. But it's, you know, some days I'm glad to just be at that cubicle making what I want to make, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not for everybody, because when you do have those like blah weeks in this shit, it's like nothing's happening then. You better get off your fucking ass and whatever. Whereas if you just clock in and clock out every week, you're making your money.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting to talk to somebody else that is kind of a similar feeling of waking up and not having the same day every day, being able to work from your home when you want to, things like that, and the benefits of that. Because there is, like, when I was talking to Mom, she's like, I just could not go sit in an office every day. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And there are people like that. Now, she does sit in an office every day, her home office.
Right.
And she's in there all the fucking time.
Right.
But the fact that you have the freedom to get up and go do whatever you want whenever you want is just, it's weird because it's just not being on somebody else's schedule.
Yeah.
If you map out how many hours you spend on your work as a good entrepreneur, it's more.
Yeah. Well, and
it's not being on the rigid schedule.
I think that's why there is kind of starting to be a shift with like business owners that are our age and maybe a little bit older, but younger business owners and stuff. And there's actual studies that are starting to prove that it's just if you want the most out of your employees, it might be best to give them the freedom to like work from home and stuff like that. Like it's there are a lot of studies that are proving now that you have better workers when you let them have the I work from home mentality, like while still being an employee.
Well, one of the biggest things I've always believed, even when we first started doing this shit, is that nobody, I mean, depending on the job, if it's like a factory job or whatever, where you literally have to be physically working, like if at an office desk job, nobody just works for 8 hours.
No.
Like a good chunk of that time is spent bullshitting.
Oh yeah.
Because you can't focus on a task that long.
Well,
and there's not enough shit to do really a lot of times.
Well, and when the business grows too, there's so many distractions that it's like, it's a constant, like just, I feel like some days when I'm at work, it's like a constant just answering questions and I'm not getting anything done.
Right.
It's like me getting things done for other people and my tasks are taking
and there is an advantage, like we say with our business, there's an advantage of having everybody in one place and around, and the thought is that we're at work, because like if we just went every day working out of our homes and not being in an office or being in a place together, when we're here we end up talking about lots of shit that's beneficial to the business and getting random things done that you didn't plan on getting done.
Yeah.
And so that is important to have an office and a work environment for your employees to make sure that that shit is getting done, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you to the extent that
I don't think it's necessary every day.
well, and I think if it, and this is what's tough is not
and on such a rigid schedule too.
well, that's what's tough is not everyone is conscientious. So you'd like to think, because this is, at least for me, and I think a lot of people are like this, I would much rather come in, work my ass off for 3 hours and go home.
Yeah.
And if I did that, I think I would get just as much done as just clocking in for the 8-hour workday. And
well, I think what these
now some things are time sensitive. So some things you can't just come in at 8, be done at 11, and you get your work done because you have to be there all day to work. So there's lots of different jobs.
Depends on what your job is.
not everything works for everybody.
Right.
But like a lot of times I'm just referring to like a general behind the scenes desk job.
Yeah, but I think, and what this study, I think even, or what a lot of these studies are even finding is when you give people that freedom, it's causing people to tend to work after hours because it's just on their mind and they're just doing it at home. Like, yeah, they might not wake up at 8 and they might not start working until 10, but they're probably still working at like 8 p.m., like 9 p.m., just because if you like what you're doing and you can't stop thinking about it, like you tend to not have that clocked out mentality of, oh, it's 5 o'clock, time to leave.
Right.
Like you're at home and you've been at home and you've just been doing what you've been wanting to do. And as long as you're getting the work done, who cares?
Well, yeah. And I guess that's the thing is, you know, jobs are in such high demand these days. You'd think you could, like, people don't want to lose their jobs.
No.
So if you can choose to come into work, or you can choose to be more flexible and work from home sometimes, then why not? And if you don't get it done, I'm sure the employer can find somebody that will.
Exactly.
And so I do generally think that most people, and I think there are plenty of people that would be like, I'd rather come into work.
Yeah, sure.
Which is fine too. But I like the idea of the flexibility. Or like we talked about, we're kind of erring on the side of, you know, less hours in the office. Some people would be like, all right, I'd rather work, you know, 3 days a week or 4 days a week for 10 hours. And a lot of places are doing that, right? They're doing the shorter work week, but the longer hours or whatever, those type of things. But I like businesses that are experimenting with that more because I don't think it makes sense to just have the rigid, everyone come in at 8, everyone leave at 5.
I think it's a comfort thing for like managers and stuff to actually see their employees at their desks and things like that, and getting they feel like they're getting their money's worth. That
but if
way.
you actually realized how much work is getting done, you'd be very
That's
surprised.
why there's these studies that are looking at it and being like, I mean, yeah, they're there, but what are they doing?
No, I mean, you think about like we do our own thing, and I get pissed sometimes when I'm at, like, I'm sitting down and I want to do some shit, and I end up like getting down some YouTube wormhole, or I get distracted by whatever. What do you think these employees are doing at their desks with their computers?
Right.
Or with their phones now? Like, that's the thing. You can regulate people's computers a little bit now on like what you can see and what sites they can visit and whatever.
Yeah.
You can't do shit about their phones.
No.
And yeah, you can see if they're on their phones. So they're trying to, but it's just too much to, regulate. Like,
well,
there are better ways to manage people, I think.
And that's the thing. I mean, I think the argument against it would be that you're kind of losing out on the face-to-face collaboration stuff and the natural things that happen when you are at the workplace.
Right. Which is why you have a minimum amount of time you require people to.
Well, and that's the thing. I think people would be more refreshed if you would, like, the thing is, I don't want an employee that can't regulate themselves. Like, I just don't want it. Yeah. So to me, it's like, okay, I'm going to give you the freedom to do it, but I want to see you in the office at some point. Yeah. Like, just do your job and do it well.
Well, and in
like,
general, everyone has a supervisor or a manager or whatever. So whether you're not getting your work done or whether we're not seeing you enough or whatever the case may be, there's managing going on. Like, hey, we need you to come into the office more.
Right.
Hey, you need to spend more time on this, whatever the case may be. And that employee will learn too how to manage their time and what works best for the job they're doing. And if you give them X amount of time, then all of a sudden they get into their own habit of what works best for them.
Yep.
I think.
No,
and if they can't, then they're probably not the right employee.
That's what I feel like is, to me, like a manager, if he needs the comfort of seeing an employee at their desk every day, and that's his idea of managing, is just making sure that like his employee is there and like acting like they're doing work. There's problems with that on all fronts.
Right.
Like, but I feel like that's what a lot of people are used to.
Right.
It's just like the manager is there to make sure that the employee is there at their desk every day.
Yeah.
And actually like looking like they're doing work and making sure they actually get it done.
Well, yeah, a good example. And yeah, like obviously what I do is a different job than a lot of people, but it could relate in very similar ways. Like, bro, there's certain days where if someone just saw my day from 8 to 5, they would be like, what does this dude do?
Right.
Like he got up and he watched TV and he played video. He slept in, he got up, watched TV, went out to lunch with somebody, and now he's taking a nap. Like, what does this guy do? Well, what you don't know is that I was up from midnight to 3 a.m. writing a song. And then tonight I'm going into the studio at 10 to record it.
Exactly.
But those are weird ass hours.
Yeah.
But if that's when I work and that's when I want to work, that's when I'm inspired to work, so be it. It's the same amount of hours as everyone else. It just isn't the hours you like.
Right. And that's the thing, like for even jobs that you don't think like inspiration is a big deal. Inspiration is a big deal with a lot of things.
Yeah, it is. Even on the most basic things. Like if you are whatever, like drafting documents, like there are times where you sit down and that doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world. And there are times where you sit down and you're like, this sounds fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And that's a form of inspiration.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be just coming up with someone something out of the blue. It's just when you're inspired to work. It's like sometimes you have chores around the house and some days you get up and you're like, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
And some days you're like, this is the last thing I want to do. It's the same with anything else.
Exactly. And if you have a good employee, it's going to get done at some point.
Yeah.
You just don't know when the hours are going to be.
Right.
Like that was the thing. I was thinking about this exact same thing last week is, I have a new position and it's a little bit more flexible with my hours, and it was Sunday and I was sitting there watching football and I was like, you know, I feel like I could do this tedious thing that I kept putting off at work the last week, like right now.
Yeah.
And I put in 3 hours of work doing this tedious thing that I didn't want to do last week. And it wasn't a big deal. I was watching football and I was just doing it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was done. And I was way more happy doing it than if I had to sit at my desk at work doing it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's different types of people. Like some people need their hand held and they need to be forced to do things. And that just is either on the manager to make it happen or it's on the hirer to get the right person.
Right.
And that's what's tough too is like once you go down that road, it's then you can't require different things of different people.
Right.
So you can't necessarily say two people with the same position, you have to come into the office because you don't work well this way.
Right.
But you can say you're not getting the job done.
Right. Based on performance, you can say whatever you want.
Right.
But like that's the thing is I would say give them a chance to fail, but I would say a lot of people are pretty capable of.
I would think so.
I would hope. Like it takes a little bit of like self-discipline to.
And you know what's really nice about that shit coming from, people living in Michigan and like the Midwest? Dude, no one wants to get up and go to work in the winter.
No.
So if you can avoid that, like, man, there's something amazing about waking up on a cold, snowy ass day.
Yes.
Making yourself a cup of coffee at the crib and getting down to work.
Yes.
And not having to go scrape off your car and put on your winter coat and your boots and like shovel yourself out of the driveway. Yep. There's something very advantageous about that and much more willing to work.
Yes. Agreed.
But yeah, thought that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily think about with entrepreneurship. But some people do. Other than that, dude, we still don't have a lot of, as far as areas we're really interested in, much new music going down. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of fourth quarter music as December gets closer.
Hopefully.
We will have to talk to Joel soon, which congratulations to Joel. Mm-hmm. He and Megan are expecting one.
That's right.
Big time. Also congratulations to Dags and Coley. They're engaged.
Oh yeah.
Went to their engagement party the other day. Got lit. Big things happening with the homies, but we got to talk to Joel and get him in here, set a date to do the kind of end of year, maybe rank the albums of the year type podcast within the next, maybe in a month or so.
Yeah, probably.
So you guys can expect that.
Gear this week, hopefully.
Yeah, we got this. This is actually, I'm not just saying this to hype. Might be my favorite hoodie we've done.
Wow.
What do you think? Where would you rank it? And it wasn't like, at first, it wasn't like my all-time favorite design necessarily. I like the hoodie itself, though.
The hoodie's nice.
And the design ended up being doper than I expected when I just saw the mock.
Yeah, I like the design.
And the color of the hoodie, like, I like it.
Yeah, I think it's nice. Yeah, I would rank it up there.
But we have a bunch of, this is the only one, or we also got our gray beanies in, which turned out really dope. For those of you that got the old black beanies, these ones are a tad bit, the black ones were like a little on the tight side.
Are they? Because they look the same to me. I was kind of disappointed. I thought they'd be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, because you told me that, and I was like, when I put it on, I was like, oh, this is still like not the loose.
Yeah, because
so they're not that different in size, but I do think it's a little.
Okay. It should be because they were different brands.
I do think they're a little bigger. So if any of you were like, dang, these are like really tight on my dome, these gray ones should be a little better.
I think they look better too.
They look dope. I like the look of them. And then we're waiting on some. As soon as we get this other gear, hopefully they keep kind of pushing it back on us, but hopefully by the end of this week, and then we'll be able to roll that shit out.
Yep. But we got lots of stuff, so Christmas is about to be lit.
Yeah. Other than that, all I really have left is, today is election day. What you're gonna hear from all your celebrities and everyone that wants to talk to you about it is, get off your ass and vote. Go vote. I have a different message. Don't vote if you're just voting because people are telling you to vote.
Yes, please don't vote if that's your reason.
If you go to the poll and you have no plan and no idea what you want and what's on the ballot and what your ideas are for voting, don't vote because people tell you it's your duty.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a duty, to me, it's to know what to vote about.
Yeah.
Then go vote.
It's to educate yourself.
Right. Then go vote. And I'm not saying we all got to be politicians and have these ideas on every issue. I'm just saying in general, know what you're doing.
Right.
Don't just vote to go put the sticker on your chest and post it on Instagram. There's no point in that.
No.
So if you don't know what the fuck you're doing and what you're talking about, enjoy. If you work for the government, enjoy your day off. Enjoy everyone out there telling you to go vote and sit on your ass.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yes, I do. And this, don't get me wrong. I do think it's important to vote. I do think it's important to know what your valuable issues are and vote on them and things like that. So by all means, go gather the information and go vote.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
I think
today is election day. So if you're looking at yourself in the mirror when you wake up today and you're like, dang, I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Then sit at home.
Well, and I guess that's the thing is it's not super difficult to educate yourself these days. Like you can find out a lot of stuff in 45 minutes, like a lot of stuff.
True.
So,
or at least like, yeah, you don't have to go vote on everything. Go vote on some things.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah. And like I said, trust me, I'm no politician. There's lots of things I don't know about, but I feel like I've formed my own opinions for valid reasons on lots of things, and I'm going to go vote.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's the thing is I think the message is not good as far as just go vote. Like, no, educate yourself, then vote.
Yeah, and I guess that's the pet peeve I have with so many of these things is like everything. Nothing ever says that.
No.
Everything just says go vote. You're a lazy bum if you don't go vote.
Yeah.
Like get off your ass. People fought so hard for you to have this right, so go vote. And I agree with the whole like it is a right of ours and something we should be proud of and take advantage of.
Right.
But taking advantage of it is knowing what you're doing.
Yes, exactly. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Now that you mention it, like any of these commercials and stuff that you see, it's always go vote and here's how to vote.
Yeah.
It's never go vote. Here's where you can educate yourself.
I will say sometimes it is, but the ones that bug me are
I've never seen that.
The ones that bug me are the celebrity ones.
Yeah,
those ones
are the ones that are most spread.
Yeah, but there are like public service whatever that are like, here's a website where you can go find these people's positions on these topics and things like that, which are great.
Yeah.
The people that are just like go vote because you're supposed to.
Ugh.
I just think that's a wrong message to spread.
Yeah, it's not the right. It's not.
But you know
right.
what the problem is? Probably some of the people that are saying that shit don't even fucking know the issues themselves. So it's just a cool thing to do.
Love it.
But yeah, if you do know the issues and you have an interest in that,
if you do, vote for me.
Yep. Yeah, that's all I got.
Dope.
I was just talking to Mo when we sat down today. I think when we started this podcast, we mentioned that we'd be like changing out the pictures in the background, and here we are in November on podcast 39, and we have the exact same.
Yeah.
I think top of the year we'll change up the backdrop.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll either put new pictures in there or we'll completely change it up. Maybe paint the wall. I don't know.
What should the theme be? Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments so we can not look at it and choose our own.
Yes. No, I want to see.
Oh, you know what you can put in the comments as well? Moe-T had an idea. Like, we get a fair amount of emails about emails from fans who are artists who want to make their own music, and maybe they like send us a sample of a song or something like that. Maybe once in a while on here, we will play your song that you send us and give you feedback on it.
Yeah.
Now, if we do that, A, tell us if you think that's a good idea. B, if we do it, if you're sensitive, don't submit, because I don't want to, I don't, you guys are fans, right? You guys are like listeners, and I appreciate you guys. But the only way this is going to be a good segment is if we're honest with our feedback.
Right.
So as much as I like you guys, if you send me a dog shit song, I'm going to have to be honest about it. So if you're going to be sensitive and not be a loyal listener of the podcast and fuck with us because we didn't like your song, don't send it.
Right.
Or I guess you're just not going to fuck with us. That's fine too.
No, I think it would be a good thing. We do get a lot of submissions, and the thing is, I don't answer any of them because of that aspect of most of the time I feel like I need to be more brutal than what I want to be over an email.
Yeah.
So if you do want honest feedback, I think we want to do this.
We could try that once in a while.
I did make a form that you can submit your shit on, just so that you can make sure that we can play it on YouTube and shit like that. It's thespectators.com/unsigned-music. Spectators.com unsigned-music. I say that right?
Spectators.com /
Yes.
unsigned-music.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, you noticed I got a haircut. The blonde is gone. I decided to start from scratch.
He decided to copy me.
I look like Moe-T now. Sometimes you got to start over.
You know, sometimes the long hair is just not worth it.
No, like I can just wake up, roll out of bed now, and just...
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
I need a haircut, though, too, because the thing is I want to keep it so that it's just short enough that it can stay in place when I wake up and I don't have to do anything to it. But if it gets any longer than that, I have to, like, do something, and it just got to be that long. So I need to, like, keep it at that length.
Sounded very sexual.
You know, you can make anything sexual.
Not really.
Yeah, you can. That sounded sexual.
No. Make this sexual.
Are you going to end every episode with that? Are you? All right. Until next week. Yeah, hopefully there's more topics.
Yeah, hopefully there's a Packy song to outro to, because Moe-T will finish one of my mixes.
They're finished. What are you talking about?
I never got an email.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
We'll research that.
I showed up early and I caught next, brought my own ball.
got warmed up and I got all stretched. When they chose sides, though, they left me on the park bench. That's when I knew I had to go and play some offense.